I am Roscoe Reddix. I am New Orleans native. I'm a theater artist, culturalist, movement artist. The New Orleans Four open the doors so we don't have to wait outside anymore. They're warriors. My art is an opportunity to recover what we as African Americans have here in this country. It's a sort of a creative journey. It's a way to connect to the world. It's everyone's birthright. All people are born with a story inside them, a story to tell.
My name is Grayhawk Perkins, and learning more about my heritage is being Native. I wanted to be able to learn more about my heritage, but also tell that story for my grandkids and my kids. That was the thing that pushed me to being a storyteller and being a writer.
My name is Zohar Israel. I come from a family of musicians. I've always had music around me. I'm more like a drummer extraordinaire. I also teach still dancing. It's a way of life. It's therapy. And to be able to take that blessing and pass it on to someone else, that's, I guess that's my role, that's why I'm here.
My name is Solomon Israel, and I'm a multi-instrumentalist and a culture bearer. Growing up in this community and culture always felt like a way of life. I look back on baby pictures, seeing myself, I have a drum, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. It felt so natural. Still Walking started, I just saw it as an outlet for me to have this spirit be displayed on two sticks. By me taking it so serious and incorporating this skill set from my father into my own repertoire, it's allowed me to have opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else.
My name is Betty Shirley. I'm considered, some might say, folk artist or tribal artist. Yes, I'm a jazz singer. I came to New Orleans basically to record some music with a musician that I had met in New York. As I was walking down the streets of New Orleans, I heard music that was not like the music that I knew in New York. I liked the ambiance and I liked the sound of the music and the people here in New Orleans. So I decided to move down here. When I came here to New Orleans, I didn't have an idea that it was going to lead me to so many different avenues of children. This artwork that I do, I use it as more or less, how do you say, game instead of just ordinary art.
Years and years ago, World's Fair came here in New Orleans and there were stilt dancers on the show. It was something I was very interested in. And I built some stilts and I used to have free classes. Talked to a friend of mine about it. He said, teach your kids. So I started teaching my kids and they were the ones who really took it and started bringing it to a whole nother level. And now it passed down generations to my grandkids.
I developed a Native American program, but also I developed a story program, of storytelling, but also for a writing program. That's how I started here. My goal was to make every kid in that audience proud of who they were.
I had an opportunity to teach African drum and dance and folklore and song and to do presentations with my students. It was a joyous time in the middle of an extremely uncertain moment.
Being from New Orleans or just from down south, we're not really too afraid of hurricanes and tropical storms, so we thought it'd be nothing. Of course, that's not the case at all.
When Katrina came, it was my last night at the Royal Sonesta, and they said, we have to leave New Orleans, and I was like, okay.
I remember we were just starting the school year when we started to get news about, a storm picking up in the Gulf. As soon as the sun went down, so about 8, 9 o'clock, that's when it made its landfall. 45 minutes into it, the rain just really picked up.
You could hear the trees explode like cannons going off.
Cars like sliding across the ground and just continuous water.
We saw with the rest of America that New Orleans was flooded, and we realized it would be more than that weekend.
Our plan was to come back down and see if we can get inside the city. But what they did, they closed the city down for over a month. One was able to come back into the city. So I went out to Florida.
Any of the things that I was doing here, they were gone. I was an entertainer, but also I'm an educator. And so, yeah, it hit me hard. I get a phone call from Huntsville saying, would you come up to Huntsville and do what you do in New Orleans with the Indian education program and the school system in Huntsville?
I had to go through a lot of things, but I tried my best to get a job teaching in Huntsville, Texas. No jazz music there. I had to go to Houston to sing, and the schools there were not so open to the people coming from New Orleans.
We end up in Arlington, Texas, and all I have is, what's in my backpack. It was a very traumatic experience. To try to start anew out there was something very hard for me to do. And once I reestablished the connection with my dad, then that kind of gave me a glimmer of hope.
When I realized everyone was safe and, stuff like that, I started making trips from Florida to Texas to check on everyone, but I still had performances.
People from New Orleans, Jazz Fest called me, and then before you know it, other people would call me and said, hey, we're going to open this school up, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Will you come back?
Even in the lowest point of people, they're going to always want some type of entertainment, especially with drums. Drum and culture, it's emotional. So people can feel it.
I'm an artist. I was like, there's no way in the world I'm gonna find a job. But in a quiet moment, a still small voice said, call young audiences. And the next week I was working. I was able to do what I loved and to share what I loved with students who had been displaced, who were from this area, who we had all, had the same experience.
The thing about working with young audience, I got a chance to meet a lot of children that I had never met before.
When I came back to New Orleans, some of them was emotionally disturbed about it. I would have them to speak about their feelings and stuff like that. So I would call it storytelling. So I would play a little rhythm and stuff like that, and let them come up and tell stories, and they had some stories to tell.
I had an opportunity through drum and dance and movement to connect my displaced students, to connect them to that. So there was a real connection for them from home through the arts.
Beautiful thing to see the results of your work, and you see that you was able to help them and save lives. Gave me an opportunity to go into the classroom and be able to teach and work with kids.
I continue to learn from the students and their experiences. It's provided opportunity to share my artistry, to share my passion with young people.
They think that we're just storytellers, but if we do our job right, we can affect the kid and their family. One of the things I always used to say to my students, I'd come into class and say, so who's teaching today? And my students would reply, we're all teaching, Mr. Grayhawk. Because I always told my students, I learn as much in a day from them as they do from me.
I'm very thankful that I'm able to enhance whatever they're doing. Sometimes when I'm working and teaching with the kids, I get a chance to go back to work on my own artwork at the same time. It's kind of funny because they're always trying to outdo me. I have to stay a step ahead of them,
Music and participating in the culture of my city that I'm a part of is ingrained in who I am. This gives me the opportunity to give back to my community and actually do something productive for my community. If we want to create a better future for tomorrow, then we need to invest in the children now.
20 years later, we at Young Audiences celebrate all of the artists who returned to rebuild, shouldering emotional challenges of the time, and who have always helped students see the world in new, renewed, and magical ways.
Yes, not just for what they do, but also for what they represent. An unbroken legacy of culture bearing that safeguards the music, storytelling, visual art, theater, and dance we love so much. Thank you.
We also honor the YALA artists and culture bearers who have since transitioned. Adella, the storyteller. Baba Kenyatta Simon. Mama Baderinwa Rolland. Damas Fanfan Lewis. Leo Jones. And Frank Levy.